Welcome to Deep Dive. Today we're tackling something a lot of folks are curious about.
Mm-hmm.
That journey from, say, 30% body fat down to a much leaner 10%. What's a realistic timeline?
Yeah, it's a common goal, or at least something people wonder about.
Exactly. So whether you're actively chasing this or just interested in the process, we've dug into some really solid info.
We have. We're aiming to give you a clear, actionable framework based on expert methods,
And we'll cover the different tools you can actually use to track your progress properly, go beyond guesswork.
Absolutely. The mission for this deep dive, equip you with the knowledge to estimate your own timeline, understand the key factors.
And really know what you're working with. Okay, let's get into it.
Right.
So you're thinking about this goal, 30 down to 10%. Before we even talk weeks or months, step 0 is crucial.
Tracking. You need good tracking.
How are you going to measure progress? Because if you don't know where you are or if you're moving right.
How can you estimate the road ahead? Makes sense. Our sources really emphasize this. It's all about the tools.
Okay, tool number 1, the weight scale. Everyone's got one pretty much.
Yeah, it's accessible, and it gives you a general direction, like a compass. Are you trending up or down?
But it's not the king, right? Our
Yeah.
sources warned against just weighing in weekly.
Definitely. You can get these temporary spikes.
Yeah.
Water weight, a big meal.
It throws you off mentally, even if you're actually losing fat.
Exactly. So the recommended method is actually daily weigh-ins.
Daily. Wow, okay.
Yeah. First thing, wake up, bathroom, no clothes before you eat or drink anything. Consistency is key.
Okay, but doesn't daily weigh-in make you obsessive?
That's where the next step comes in. You don't focus on the daily number itself. You calculate a 7-day average
Ah, okay, so you average week 1, average week 2.
and compare those averages.
Yeah.
That shows the real weekly trend. Smooths out all those little daily ups and downs.
That makes sense. Okay, tool number 2, photos. This one seems kind of obvious, but maybe underrated.
Very underrated. Because sometimes the scale might stall, right? Especially if you're strength training.
You could be losing fat, but gaining muscle.
Precisely. Body composition is changing, but the total weight doesn't shift much. The scale won't show you that progress.
The photos will. You'll see the difference.
Absolutely. Seeing is believing, and it's super motivating. But again, consistency matters.
Right. Same spot, same time of day, same lighting.
Same pose, yeah. Front, side, back. Do it weekly. Compare them side by side.
And this leads to the eye test, right? Using like a visual chart.
Exactly. There are charts online showing different body fat percentages visually. You compare your photos to the chart.
It's not super scientific, but it gives you a ballpark.
A really good ballpark, actually. You can even ask a friend to look at the chart in your photos. Get the second opinion.
Okay. What if you want something a bit more precise?
Well, there are other tools. Many gyms have in-body scans.
I've seen those. They give you a body fat percentage number.
They do. It's a good reference point. One source suggested maybe averaging your eye test estimate with the in-body number. Gets you a rounded figure.
Interesting. And then there's the really accurate stuff.
Yeah, the DXA scan. That's generally considered the gold standard.
Why is that?
It's much more detailed, measures subcutaneous fat, the stuff under your skin, but also visceral fat.
The dangerous fat around the organs?
Exactly. Plus bone density, muscle mass. It gives a really comprehensive picture.
Okay, probably more involved, maybe more expensive too.
Usually, yes.
Uh-huh.
Oh, and don't forget simple tape measurements.
Ah, good point. Measuring your waist, arms, etc.
Yeah, if the scale isn't moving but your waist is shrinking, that's definitely progress.
Okay, so we've got tools, daily weigh-in averages, consistent photos with the eye test, maybe an in-body, DXA for top accuracy, and tape measures.
Right. So knowing how to track, let's use a sample scenario to talk timelines.
Okay, let's do it.
Imagine someone 5'8", weighs 200 pounds, and they're starting at around 30% body fat based on those tracking methods.
Got it. 200 pounds, 30% body fat.
Now, two main things are going to dictate how long it takes to get to 10%.
Okay, what are they?
One, your starting body fat percentage. Obviously, starting higher means more fat to lose, longer journey.
Makes sense. And 2,
Your rate of weight loss. How quickly are you aiming to lose the weight?
faster rate, shorter timeline. Seems simple enough.
It is, in principle. So let's look at a simple estimation method first. The 1% rule.
The 1% rule, explain that.
The idea is to aim for losing about 1% of your current body weight, primarily as fat, each week.
Okay, so for our 200-pound person.
That's 2 pounds per week. 200.01 equals 2.
Right. And they want to go from 30% to 10%. That's a 20% drop.
Exactly. So it's simple math. 20% total drop divided by 1% loss per week.
Equals 20 weeks, roughly.
Roughly 20 weeks. It's a quick, easy estimate. And it connects the rate of loss to your current size. If you weighed less, 1% would be less than 2 pounds.
Okay, that's one method. You mentioned a chart, too.
Yeah, another simple way.
Yeah.
This chart was based on losing, on average, 1 pound of fat per week.
Slower rate than the 1% rule for our example
No.
guy.
For him, 1% was 2 pounds. So this chart assumes half that speed. You find your starting fat percent on the chart,
30%.
follow it down to the male section, trace across, and it gives an estimated number of weeks to see abs, which is usually around that 10-12% mark.
And what did the chart say for 30% male at 1 pound a week?
It suggested around 44 weeks.
Whoa, much longer. But that's at half the speed.
Exactly. So if you double the rate of loss, aim for 2 pounds a week, like our 1% rule example.
You'd cut the 44 weeks in half to 22 weeks.
Precisely. And look, 22 weeks from the chart method, adjusted for speed, is pretty darn close to the 20 weeks from the 1% rule.
Okay, so different simple methods, but they point to a similar time frame. A few months, basically.
Yeah, we're talking somewhere around 5-6 months in this scenario, give or take, not a few weeks. It reinforces that realistic time frame.
Good. Now, for people who like the details, can we break down the math behind that?
Absolutely. Let's stick with our 200-pound, 30% body fat example. First, calculate fat mass. 200 pounds times 0.30. That's 60 pounds of fat.
Got it.
Then, lean mass. Total weight minus fat mass. 200 minus 60. That's 140 pounds of lean mass. Muscle, bone, water, organs, etc.
Okay, 140 pounds lean mass.
Now, the goal is 10% body fat. We usually assume for this calculation that lean mass stays roughly the same during fat loss. It's an estimate, but useful.
So at the target weight, that 140 pounds of lean mass will make up 90% of the total weight.
Exactly, because 10% will be fat. So to find the target weight, you take the lean mass, 140 pounds, and divide it by 0.90.
140 divided by 0.9 comes out to about 155.6 pounds.
Yep, let's call it 156 pounds for simplicity. That's the target weight at 10% body fat.
Okay, so starting at 200, aiming for 156, how much fat needs to be lost?
Well, target fat mass is 10% of 156, which is 15.6 pounds. You started with 60 pounds of fat.
So 60 minus 15.6 is 44.4 pounds of fat to lose.
Correct, about 44 pounds total.
Now, connect that to the timeline again.
Easy. Total fat to lose, 44.4 pounds, divided by your rate of loss per week.
If you lose 1 pound a week, 44.4 divided by 1 is about 44 weeks.
Just like the chart predicted for 1 pound week.
And if you lose 2 pounds a week, 44.4 divided by 2 is 22.2 weeks.
Again, right in line with the 1% rule estimate and the adjusted chart estimate. The map holds up.
So it really boils down to how much fat is there to lose and how quickly, sustainably can you lose it?
That's the core of it. Sustainability is the key word there.
Because naturally, people hear 22 weeks versus 44 weeks, and they want the faster option. How do you speed it up?
You can speed it up, but you need to be aware of the potential downsides.
Like what?
Trying to lose too fast often means, well, increased hunger, obviously, more food noise, constantly thinking about food.
Yeah, that sounds draining.
It can be. Also, potentially decreased training performance, less energy overall. It becomes a real battle of willpower.
And willpower isn't infinite.
Exactly. If the deficit is too aggressive, too uncomfortable, you're more likely to, fall off the wagon, maybe even rebound. Finding a sustainable calorie deficit is crucial.
Okay, let's talk deficit. How does that work? The 3,500 calorie rule.
Yeah, the basic principle is that about 3,500 calories equals roughly 1 pound of stored body fat.
So to lose 1 pound a week, you need a deficit of 3,500 calories over the week.
Which averages out to 500 calories per day. 3,500, 7 equals 500.
And for 2 pounds a week?
Double it. 1,000 calorie deficit per day on average.
Right. How do you create that deficit? 2 main ways, I guess. Diet and exercise.
Exactly. Caloric input, what you eat, and caloric output, what you burn.
So on the diet side, if someone's maintenance calories, like the calories to stay the same weight, are 3,000.
Then eating 2,500 calories a day creates that 500 calorie deficit for 1 pound a week loss.
And eating 2,000 would create the 1,000 calorie deficit for 2 pounds a week.
In theory, yes. But dropping calories that low can be tough, hence the sustainability issue. You have to monitor how you feel.
Makes sense. What about the output side, exercise?
This is where activity comes in. And it doesn't have to be grueling workouts. Walking is surprisingly effective.
Really? How many calories does walking burn?
It varies a lot, obviously based on weight, pace, incline. But a common estimate is around 10,000 steps burns roughly 500 calories.
Okay, so just hitting 10K steps could potentially create that 1 pound week deficit on its own, or contribute significantly.
It could contribute significantly, yeah. Or if you're already eating at a slight deficit, adding 10K steps could get you closer to that 1 or 2 pound goal.
What if you did more steps,
Right.
like 15,000?
Then you're potentially burning more like 750 calories from that activity. Steps are great because they're relatively low impact, manageable for most people.
So you can create the deficit purely through diet, purely through activity, or a mix.
A mix is often the most sustainable. Maybe a moderate calorie reduction, like 300, 500 calories from food, combined with increasing your daily steps or adding some other exercise.
That sounds more balanced. Are there other things that help the fat loss process?
Definitely. Protein intake is a big one.
How so?
Eating enough protein, maybe around 1.1 to 1.3 grams per pound of body weight,
Yeah.
helps you feel fuller. It also has a slightly higher thermic effect.
Meaning your body burns a few more calories just digesting protein.
Exactly. Plus, it helps preserve muscle mass while you're in a deficit, which is really important. You want to lose fat, not muscle.
Good point. Anything else?
Sleep. Don't underestimate sleep.
How does sleep affect fat loss?
Quality sleep is crucial for hormone regulation. Things like testosterone, growth hormone, they're important for building and maintaining muscle, and they influence metabolism.
So less sleep could actually hinder your fat loss efforts.
It absolutely can. Affects hunger hormones, too, making you crave more calorie-dense foods sometimes.
Wow. So it's protein, sleep, managing the deficit through diet and activity, a whole package.
It really is. These seemingly small things add up. It's usually not about drastic measures, but consistent, balanced habits.
Now, one thing the source material did, which was interesting, was invite people to share their stats.
Yeah, in the comments section of the video.
Yeah.
Age, weight, height, body fat estimate and method, gender.
And the creator offered to try and give personalized timeline estimates.
Which is cool. We can't do that here, obviously. But it highlights that everyone's situation is unique.
And it's a reminder that checking out those kinds of comment sections, seeing other people's stats and the calculations,
Can be really insightful. You learn by seeing examples.
Absolutely. So let's try and wrap this up. Key takeaways.
Okay. Going from 30% to 10% body fat. It's a journey, not a sprint. Months, not weeks, realistically.
And understanding where you start is key. Use those tracking tools, scale averages, photos, maybe scans, tape measure.
Know your starting point. Then, figure out a sustainable rate of loss for you. The 1% rule is a good starting guideline.
Roughly 1 to 2 pounds a week for many people, depending on their weight.
Then you can estimate the timeline using the simple rules or the more detailed math we walk through. They generally align.
And create that necessary calorie deficit through a combination of sensible eating and increased activity, like walking.
Don't forget protein and sleep to support the process.
It's about consistency and finding what works for you long term.
Precisely. The numbers give you a map, but you still have to walk the path sustainably.
So a final thought for everyone listening. Instead of just focusing on the end goal, maybe reflect on what a realistic, sustainable rate of progress actually means in the context of your own life.
Yeah. How can understanding these numbers empower you, not overwhelm you? It's about informed action, not just relying on willpower that eventually runs out.
Maybe ask yourself, what's one small, truly sustainable change, diet, or activity you could start today or tomorrow?
That's a great question to ponder. Small steps, consistently taken, lead to big results over time.